think that will help you guys. But I think that's incredible that you're doing that. I want to just go back for 1 second though, Bethany, because you went through like these incredible challenges and hurdles, and even like life twisting and turning. You were on this really set path, and then you went in a completely different way, and then you came back around, and you shared how you had like some of your best performance actually after the recovery, after you became a mom, after you went through all these changes that took you off track. And I think that's really where I want to end this interview and focus people in, because just like you just said, listen, everyone's been thrown for a loop this year. Things didn't go the way anyone planned. A lot of people are probably feeling like exactly what you just said. Listen, I was on this trajectory, right? Everything was going good. We thought we knew where we were going and what we were doing. And then it was just like an explosion. I always say 2020 is like the year of confetti being thrown in the air. And it's like everything is just, it's all over the place, right? But I want to have you just articulate a little bit of the mindset, like your mindset specifically. How do you get to that place? And what are some tips that you want to give to the listeners about getting themselves in that mindset of like, listen, like it's an opportunity to show up as a better, different version of yourself. It's an opportunity to approach this in a new way. Like you got back out there, you got back on that board, and then you were able to beat your own best, even though you had felt like your confetti was thrown up all over the place as well. Well, it was, right? And you had to find a new way. So can you just speak a little bit to mindset on that? I think that would really help people listening.
Yeah, I love this conversation I had with a guy by the name of Nick Vujicic. And I never really put this into words, but once I heard him say it, he's this guy who's like born with no limbs. And so just imagine living a life with no limbs. Like, what does that even entail? Like, he has a little nubby foot, but he can't really, I mean, he actually can do a lot. Like, he's an amazing human. His mind is so strong. But his version of like having a healthy mindset or overcoming obstacles is he if an obstacle comes his way, he tries to think of 6 different ways to like get beyond it or push past it. And I feel like I've naturally kind of done that. Is just finding a new way. Like when one way hits a roadblock, just find like adjusting the kind of direction and kind of reevaluating. And a lot of times that means, you know, like you mentioned, adapting, you know, finding people to support me, to cheer me on. Like times when maybe I didn't believe in myself, I had like an incredible coach who was like, you can do this. Like, even though you're like exhausted and thrashed, like you got this, just focus on your skills, what the ocean's doing, and go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always kind of like also approached with just gratitude. Like, I know I think it's overlooked. Like, you know, if I hadn't have been thankful just to be alive after I lost my arm, I could have gone down a really dark and unhealthy path of like destruction. Right. But instead, I was grateful to be alive, and I trusted that God had more for my life, and I didn't just kind of mope around. So I think just like then, this year is another kind of realm of like, if we mope around, then we're gonna get nowhere.
That's
so just keep our head up and keep adjusting our trajectory until we figure it out. And it's gonna take perseverance, but I think it'll be worth it in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what you said about finding the 6 different ways, because I think that's the thing, is our thinking becomes limited because we become so attached to things going a certain way and happening in a certain order and being accomplished a certain way. But it's exactly what you said. There are all different ways to get to the same outcome. But it's having that mindset and having that perspective to say, okay, I was attached to this one way of getting here, but what are the other, you know, ways that I can approach this? I think that's a really, really powerful perspective.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to touch on too is like, so we can have all this ambition and like dreamage or like kind of goals set before us, but like if we don't have just our day-to-day life kind of balanced out. Like, for example, I would not be where I am if it wasn't for the healthy relationship I have with my husband, and just being able to teamwork things with him and be aligned mentally, iron out kinks and problems when they come. And I just know that when things in the home are feeling like disrupted or just unbalanced, like nothing else flows, or it doesn't feel good even if it's trying to flow. So I always like try to make like just my relationships and with my husband and my children be the first and foremost priority. So kind of going back to what we started the conversation with is like, if you don't feel like you're maximizing your relationship with your kids, then you probably aren't, and you gotta like keep working towards that balance. And if that means like doing special weekend adventures, making sure your time with them is phone free, TV free, where you're actually like interacting with them, like then when we get into the workplace, we're able to like focus and like go hard and get it done.
My name is Kelly Roach. I help entrepreneurs around the world build, grow, and scale successful online businesses. If you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss an episode.